Such a great day to talk Disney parks with you, and we're glad that you're here. Hey, if you'd like to win your very own Kingdom Report mug, all you have to do is leave the phrase that pays this week underneath the live video. Right after the live video is done, leave this comment, the Jungle Cruise. The Jungle Cruise is the phrase that pays this week. Yeah, between now and Monday morning at 8 a.m. Pacific time in which to enter. If you are the winner, we will get that mug shipped your direction by leaving the Jungle Cruise in comment form underneath this video over at the Kingdom Report on YouTube following the live broadcast. And on today's show, the D23 Expo is set to expand next year when it returns to Anaheim. Walt Disney World is getting an old attraction back into the mix. The Disneyland Forward plans for expansion in the Disneyland Resort. Well, they have revealed a heck of a lot more. Magic Key lawsuit settlement is now underway, and the best Halloween tips for the Disneyland Resort, that and so much more, as Tyler Crouch, Katrina Manzoni, Garrett Hassel, and myself, and Wade Heath, we are all together to bring you this edition of Kingdom Report Live, and it starts for you next.
Looking for some digital magic to help you through your week? The Kingdom Report is here for you, covering the latest Disneyland and Disney World news, experiences, and events. Be sure to follow us on Instagram and Facebook at Kingdom Report Live so you never miss an update. And drop a subscribe on the Kingdom Report YouTube channel for new videos every week. Don't miss out. Join this growing community of theme park fans as we aim to connect you to more of what makes you happy. For more information, visit KingdomReportLive.com. And now, back to the magic.
To all who come to this happy place, welcome.
A beautiful live look outside at the Disneyland Resort. It is essentially a perfect fall day. Could not ask for better weather for fall than what we are seeing today. Beautiful clouds overhead, things looking very, not just cloudy, but fall-like cool out there with a bit of mist in the air. You cannot tell me that this was not ready-made for the original Magic Kingdom. And hello to all of you. Grateful to be with you once again. Wait for the Kingdom Report back one more time here in the beautiful Warner Brothers Studios Media District in beautiful Burbank, California. There we go. I say it 3 times fast. And just around the corner from the Walt Disney Studios, as a matter of fact. If you are joining us for the first time, it means so much. Make sure that you are totally set. Make sure that you have yourself a bit of something delicious in which to sip to join us for all things Disney as we talk Disneyland to Disney World and beyond here on Kingdom Report Live. Who is we, you might be asking? Well, myself, Wade Heath. So grateful to make your acquaintance. Alongside our travel agent in residency, our Disney princess, our elegance personified, ladies and gentlemen, Katrina Manzoni.
Hi.
Oh, my.
Yeah.
Oh.
I was like, you can keep going. It's fine.
I could only go so far. I'm sorry. I didn't want it to. Well, I didn't want it to sound. I didn't want it to sound like I was leaving you out.
Oh,
Tyler, because
wow!
Alongside her, theme park analyst Tyler Crouch.
Thank you, thank you. Yes, that is definitely the sound effect for what just happened.
All things Scooby. Thank you for that. And joining us from afar, Kingdom Report reporter, the Golden Goose, as we know him, Garrett Hassel. Good to see you, my friend.
It is an absolute pleasure to be with you guys.
Yeah.
And I thought at first you were gonna say all those amazing "Where's our Disney princess?" Tyler Crouch, and I was ready to laugh really hard, but then you were very nice to Katrina.
But then you
gave
weren't
her
funny.
the title, which she's earned. Yeah.
I do what I can. Yeah, I'm all about that humor. You know, I could have said those things, but I won't say those things because Tyler, as we all know, will one day become Disney's CEO, and I want to remain in his good graces.
It's true. It's true.
Hail to the chief.
Hail to the chief.
Thank you. Thank you for the respect, Garrett. Now you understand.
Hey, I'm trying. I gotta ride your coattails as long as I can, buddy.
He sees it. He sees it and he knows.
You know.
Just put me in charge of cruise lines and I'll be happy.
But I'm also okay with it.
Oh, good.
I am okay with it.
Ride them coattails.
Go ahead. Go ahead. Do your thing.
And I do believe that before we get any show started, it is appropriate to grab a cup of something delicious. Grab yourself a cup of cheer because we are about to toast to a new show. The show toast time has arrived, and this week, toasting to something great is our very own Garrett Hassel. Garrett, what are we toasting?
Well, last week we went over D23, and I'm still riding the high that it was D23, but a few days before that, something even more magical came out. And I'm toasting to the Disney Treasure, which is the sister ship of the Disney Wish, where I proposed to my fiance. But the Treasure, this thing looks good. It's looking spectacular. It's looking quite adventurous. So, cheers to the Disney Treasure. Hopefully, it's put together a little bit better than the Disney Wish was during COVID.
Treasure.
So,
There's that.
Yeah.
Yes.
Cheers.
Yay.
Cheers to the Treasure.
Already got my tickets. I'm booked. Got my bags packed.
And we were not invited.
Well,
Yeah, not invited. Yeah.
Rude.
Listen.
How you gonna get yourself out of this one?
Yeah.
listen.
I
We're
asked
listening.
you. I asked you how that cruise life was going, and you were like acting like, oh, I haven't been on a cruise in so long, and then you already have one booked on the Treasure, a ship that doesn't even exist yet.
You punk.
Oh no, we lost you. I can't hear you.
Oh no.
Can't hear a word he's saying. That's all right. It's probably better that way.
Oh.
Hey, why don't we get you caught up?
Jared.
Why don't we get you caught up on your Disney news headlines? Because I do believe it's time for the Disney News Review. Disney News Review time. Taking a look at some of the biggest stories from across the Walt Disney Company in the past week. Blog Maker reporting that according to supplemental information released by the city of Anaheim, Disneyland is planning on more than a dozen new rides for Disneyland Park and California Adventure expansions. Blogmaker writes that it's important to note that these are far from final plans. In fact, the entire Disneyland Forward project is better thought of as a simple rezoning effort by the resort to expand where it can build theme park rides and lands. That said, the labels from the recently filed documents do shed some light on how ambitious Disneyland's efforts might be should the city approve its rezoning request. Instead of diving in too deep and speculating what each of the individual attractions could be, we'll keep it high level, they say, noting that more than a dozen attractions could be supported by the rezoning efforts as well as shows and existing hotel space. KCRA reports over 100,000 Disneyland pass holders are eligible for a cash payment from Disney after the company agreed to a settlement of a class action lawsuit over alleged false advertising. On Thursday, preliminary agreement was reached between Disney and plaintiff Janelle Nielsen, a Bay Area woman who filed on behalf of all former Dream Key holders. Magic Key, which is Disneyland's annual pass program, allows individuals to purchase year-long admission with differing blockout dates depending on how much the pass costs. Nielsen said she purchased the highest tier Dream Key for $1,399, in part because Disneyland's advertising claimed it had, quote, no blockout dates. The other two tiers, Enchant and Believe, were advertised with the line, blockout dates apply. Upon trying to make park reservations, however, Nielsen said she was disappointed to learn that Disney had already blocked out many days, including all weekend days, in the month of November 2021. When Nielsen checked to see if the park was at capacity, she alleged Disneyland was still selling single-day tickets for all days in November 2021. Quote, it was misleading and fraudulent for Disney to sell passes that were advertised as having no blockout dates and not inform Miss Nielsen and other consumers that Disney was reserving the right to make park reservations unavailable whenever it wanted, and even when park reservations are and were actually available, the complaint said. As part of the settlement, there will be a website set up for eligible individuals to read the terms of the agreement. Disney will be paying $9.5 million, far more than the $5 million initially sought by Nielsen, to be split evenly among former Dream Key pass holders. That amounts to approximately $67 per person. Any additional cash remaining after the first round of payouts may be split again among eligible individuals. They do not need to file a claim form to be a part of the settlement, as they will be contacted via email if they are eligible.
And the Orange County Register writes the former D23 Expo has shortened its name, changed its dates, and will spread its footprint beyond Anaheim's Convention Center in 2024 to include fan events at Disneyland, the Honda Center, and even Angel Stadium. D23 will return to the Anaheim Convention Center on August 9th through the 11th in 2024 for exhibits, panels, presentations, and shopping tied to all things Disney, Pixar, Marvel, and Star Wars. D23 will host a kickoff celebration across the street at the Disneyland Resort on August the 8th. Larger nighttime marquee shows will take place at the Honda Center following daytime events at the Anaheim Convention Center and the home to the NHL's Anaheim Ducks, once owned by Disney when the team was known as the Mighty Ducks, and it's located about 3 miles away from the Convention Center on Catella Avenue. There will even be a D23 day at Angel Stadium the weekend before the Convention Expo on August 4th when the New York Mets are in town to face the Angels, the other Anaheim pro sports team once owned by Disney. D23 tickets will go on sale in spring 2024 for the Anaheim Convention Center and Honda Center fan events. Tickets for the Disneyland Resort kickoff event and the D23 Day Angels game will require separate admission. And out in Walt Disney World, My News 13 reports that Soarin' Over California, which features views of locations across the Golden State, will play again at Epcot starting September 22nd. Disney didn't give an end date. This will mark the first time the original Soarin' has returned to Epcot since the attraction was updated in 2016 with Soarin' Around the World. The current version features scenes in places such as Paris, India, and Australia. The limited time run is tied to the company's 100th anniversary celebration with more festivities planned for Epcot.
Certainly a lot of stories to talk about this week when it comes to all things Disney. One of the bigger stories that has happened within the last 6 days or so is that Magic Key annual pass holder lawsuit coming out of Disneyland. We know it as that Magic Key lawsuit that a lot of people thought had absolutely no standing, absolutely no way in which it was going to succeed. Well, Disney settled, as a matter of fact, and over 100,000 of you that have these Magic Keys are now eligible for the payout. So, Tyler, how do you imagine Disney settling this lawsuit will impact Magic Key annual pass sales in the future? And I guess, are you surprised that Disney ended up settling with the complainant?
Yeah, I mean, first of all, I am really surprised that they ended up settling. I was one of those people, as you mentioned, that kind of just thought that this wasn't really going to go anywhere and Disney was kind of going to be in the clear because even though the wording is a little bit off in the way they've worded their kind of annual pass sales, you could still see. I felt like it still made sense that what was happening. So it's interesting to me that Disney clearly thought it was getting a little sketchy, and they just thought, well, best thing to do is just to pay this away because it's looked to them like it was going to get worse, I guess, which is pretty crazy to me. So, yeah, I'm very surprised by it. And how is this going to impact everybody? Frankly, I don't think it's going to impact the sales very much of the annual passes, except to say that I think they're just going to flesh out their wording much more clearly and just make sure that, they're a little more concrete on what they're saying. But other than that, I think it's going to mostly be the same. But here we go, 100,000 people going to get a little bit of a payout here. I don't think it's going to be much, but
yeah, it's like under $70 a piece, essentially. And we also want to make it clear when somebody settles, that does not mean it's an admission of guilt. However, I think if Disney thought they could easily beat this case, they would have, because we all know Disney legal to be ruthless and absolutely out for blood when it comes to anybody challenging their product, especially if they think they're in the winning category. So pretty surprising to me to certainly see that this is what is going on. And now, if you are in a certain tier, as we mentioned in the news stories, you are now eligible to get yourself a piece of this settlement pie.
There you go. Why not? Get in there.
Get it.
Get yours.
Get it.
Very rare. It's very rare for Disney to give money to people. Usually Disney is on the receiving end of any kind of payment. So consider this a small win if you were one of the 100,000 people, and then just be very quiet and move on forward before Disney comes for revenge, because Disney does like to make sequels.
I mean, in the end, Disney's going to make it back anyway because they're all annual pass holders, and like the $65
like,
is going to be going to drinks anyway.
It'll probably
If
be
you're going to Boogie Bash, the money's already gone.
Yeah, it's
right.
done.
Yeah, I'm sure they'll make it back by upping all the pass prices next year.
Sure.
And just say, yeah, well, you thought you got one over on us, punks, but we got you first.
You know what makes me laugh so much though is like, remember when we first started talking about this stuff and like the whole reason they even have these stupid new names for annual passes to be for magic keys to begin with, not even annual pass anymore. They changed the whole entire thing because they were just like, oh, let's make this make more sense for us in a business standpoint.
Right.
And what have they done is they've just made it much more complicated for themselves, and it's so funny to watch, to be honest with you. Just shooting themselves in the foot. It's not a good look, but I think a lot of people forget that not that long ago they were called annual passes, and it was not as complicated as a system as it is now. So oh, good job whoever put together this whole thing, because it is not going well for them.
Bay Area of California resident who came out in force saying, this ain't cool. You told me that with that top tier pass, I was going to be able to book whatever days I wanted. And then, of course, found out later that Disney was selling single day tickets, even though they said that there was a restriction on that they didn't have any days available for the top tier pass anymore. And so she saw both sides happening, and she said, it's not what I bought. I don't understand.
Cool.
How can you say you don't have space for me when you're still selling tickets out the back door? So it has now led to this settlement, and perhaps will lead to a bit of a different way of handling things in the future when it comes to the Magic Key process. Moving along now, Disneyland's big expansion that is on the horizon, Disneyland Forward, as the company has put in front of all of us here in recent years, especially the locals around Anaheim. Well, they have now shared, well, not necessarily shared, it's more the city of Anaheim has shared, that more than a dozen rides are set for the theme park's expansion and the project in general as the community looks to the future for Disneyland Resort's growth. In a zoning report, a bit of an environmental impact report, the city of Anaheim has disclosed many of the plans that Disney has submitted to them, because it is public record, as what the Disneyland Resort would like to do here in the near future for the future of Disneyland. What we are looking at is an unprecedented growth structure, an idea that is, in fact, going to not only double the size of the resort potentially, but also bring in things like the Skyliner, bring in things like an extension of the monorail, or maybe even a people mover. Certainly a lot of emphasis in and around the expansion of both current theme parks and even the talk of potentially a third theme park. Now, we want to remind everybody here, this is all plans, right? Each of these plans, these are all laid out for the sake of maybe even 10 years from now before they get started. So while it is fun to dream and they continue to tease this, I think it's important to remember the company doesn't really have any money right now. So I don't think there's going to be any groundbreaking anytime soon. I don't think there's going to be any building anytime soon. This is a plan for what is to come, but certainly more has been revealed this past week through these public records and what Disney has submitted in the environmental report. Katrina, a map of more than a dozen rides for expansion between both Disneyland and California Adventure. I guess what are some of the things you are hoping we see in this mix? You take a look at all the imaging that Disney put forward with the Disneyland Forward concept. We'll take a look at the Forward Disneyland slide first. And this kind of gives you an idea as to the concept art that was created initially for what blue sky there was when they came out with the project. What are you hoping we see in these spaces?
At least one of these things come true. Like, that's pretty much it, right? All these blue skies things, like, they make it look so cool with all the water and all of, like, this stuff that's happening. And I'm like, oh, okay, this looks really neat, right? And then when it actually comes true, maybe half of it will possibly happen. Not even half, like a half a ride will happen. So it'll... Isn't that sad? It's like, I am such a Debbie Downer when it comes to this stuff, because I always, like, want to look towards, like, positivity and be like, oh my God, this looks so cool. And I was like, one, we're in a like serious drought, so I doubt we're gonna have any water rides, and they're gonna make like every picture that they show for their blue sky pictures and stuff have water in it. So like a water ride or some type of fountain or some type of pretty thing. And I'm like, I doubt that they're gonna want to shell out more rides with water in them, because I don't think it's gonna work.
Well, more than any space, it looks like that DCA side imaging that we have, that Disneyland Forward projection has a lot of water
That's
in it.
it. It looks
that.
like a water
ton
ride
of
or
water.
something, like Disney Sea or something.
Right.
It looks crazy. And like in my mind, I was like, you know, it'd be really cool having some type of tangled water ride, right? Like you're going and then you're floating in the water and you're seeing the story, and then it's kind of like Pirates, right? So in the pirate ride where you go through the Disneyland one, when you're kind of going through the past and their skeletons and then they become human, you go through and then you open up to the big water area, and then there's like the pirate ships and they're, you know, bombing the city, and so you're like, oh, whoa, that's crazy. So in my mind, I'm like, that'd be really cool if they came up with like a Tangled ride where you go through the storyline, but then it opens up and then that's when they sing their beautiful love song and she sees the lanterns up in the sky.
How gorgeous.
And that would be so romantic. And then so in my mind, I was like, that'd be really cool, or like a Coco ride, or like Encanto or something, and start bringing those rides into Disney, like into Disneyland and DCA. But water rides, I feel like are gonna like this water stuff, I feel like is gonna be axed because it's gonna be really expensive to keep up, especially with like, I don't know, the sun killing the coloring and all of that stuff. So I feel like I don't know.
Lots of digging certainly that goes along with that too, right, Garrett?
Yeah. Water is always. I've
Water.
been to Disneyland enough times to see the little waterfall behind Grizzly River Run just not even happening. It's just like rocks. I was like, what's that supposed to be? Oh, that's supposed to be a waterfall, but because of drought, we don't have that. It's always easier if a water ride's enclosed, like Pirates of the Caribbean, for example, rather than, you know, Splash Mountain's, when it was still Splash Mountain, it had minimal outside water aspects. So it would be great to have, you know, these dark water rides on them, but who knows? I'm just hoping for one attraction that is original idea, like no IP. You know, I want something like Big Thunder or Pirates or Haunted, where it came from an original idea and has no, you know, IP backing on it, because I think when it's a brand new thought, the Imagineers can just go crazy with it. And us, as I say, dedicated fans, we then get more excited because, you know, we don't have to attach it to another Frozen ride. Like, there's enough Frozen
There's
rides.
no more Frozen.
Give
I'm
me
over
something
it.
new. Give me something exciting, something authentic. Pick one thing in history and just go with it, whether that's Vikings or, I don't know, like Spaceship Earth. That's a ride concept that probably would not happen now because it's all around the idea of communication. But
Right over your shoulder, bud.
yeah, yeah, bro, right.
No,
It's-
other
oh,
side.
sorry,
Yeah,
wrong
there
side. Sorry, Slinky was telling me a secret. But-
Looking forward to Olaf's Toboggan Adventure coming
no.
coming to
Hey.
Disney California Adventure.
I
I'm
feel like
all
it'd be
about
cool to
it.
have
I'm
like
all
some
about
type
Olaf.
of royal area, like expand Fantasyland like a little bit more, or try to create. Like, I don't mind IP stuff. I just want them not to like keep pounding the same things into the ground over and over and over again.
There's
like,
a lot of IP, right? Why continue to hammer the same stories?
I
Is that
don't
what
need
you're saying?
Frozen.
Yeah.
Like, I don't need Frozen like the 17th time. They've already created
Yeah.
it over in, was it in Shanghai? And they've already created it. Was it in Shanghai?
They just
Hong
opened up a Hong Kong.
And then like they
Hong
have it
Kong.
in Epcot. I was like, I'm done. I don't need it here. I'm okay.
Yeah.
Like,
a lot
it'd
of
be
other
really
stories
cool to
we
do
can
like
explore.
expand Peter Pan. That would be really cool to see Neverland, because they like in one of the pictures they showed, there was like volcano looking things or like mountains, like, you know,
Like
pointy
Neverland?
mountains, and it looks like Neverland. So I was like,
Yeah.
are they gonna do like some type of like Neverland like walkthrough or some type of like cool thing like that? Because I would that would be cool. That'd be cool.
I would like that myself.
That'd be really neat. You like come through and like you're like climbing through their like little tree house and stuff. That'd be really neat. And then seeing like Hook's like ship and whatnot, because that'd be like a fun play area for kids like to go explore. That'd be really fun, like a little splash pad for like little kids to play in, because the one in
Sounds like a
Toontown's never
nightmare.
gonna open. So
Captain Hook's
Yikes.
Chicken of the Sea dinner ship.
Yeah, why not?
Bring it
Yeah.
back.
yeah,
Bring it
tuna
back,
back.
baby. Bring it back.
Everybody's into tuna now. Anyway,
Yeah. I just really wanted to say quickly, I just hope they don't bring Pandora. That's the one thing I don't want.
See, that's the rumor though. That's what they're
That's the big
saying.
rumor, and I'm like,
Iger
just
acknowledged
If they
that
bring
one.
Satuli Canteen, I'm
Yeah.
okay with it.
Yeah, that would be
Yeah,
nice.
Bring-
As long
bring
as the
Satuli
food quality
Canteen.
is the same, I'm okay.
Iger definitely acknowledged that one as something
Yeah.
that they are plotting for Disneyland, whether it be Disneyland's theme park adjacent or California Adventure. It sounds like that is the one thing that might actually happen out of all of these plans. Certainly in live chat, echoing much of what is being said here. Ronnie saying, I'm hoping for some brand new IP not connected to any films or TV. Start in the parks and expand to film later on if you need to. And then David saying, when this gets off the ground, I don't want to see this expansion done on the cheap. Amen. If you're just going to cut corners and throw in some spinner rides or, some things that we get off the shelf that you can find at any county fair, then just don't do it. Just forget it.
I honestly feel like they are probably going to do that.
Don't say it.
Everybody's talking about, have you seen the San Francisco Bridge? Everybody's bashing how cheap it is, I was like, why did you do it? It looks so bad.
Cool in pictures.
It's hideous.
If you see it up close, you'll see
shoddy craftsmanship.
Yeah, it's pretty bad.
really bad. It's like Tinker Toy. Someone just put it together.
We were sitting there with Mr. Daps one day over by the Sonoma Terrace, and he told us right before we got there that the guy, this was a day before the official grand opening, one of the guys that was up on the people lifter, the cherry picker or whatever, smashed his basket right in the side of the bridge.
Oh my gosh.
So you can actually see, if you go and look at the bridge right now, there's a part where there's this big crack in one of the beams that goes across. That's from the guy slamming right into it.
Yeah. Well, but that's accident. There's some other ones that are the seams are bad and you could see it's just horrible. But I just hope they don't go on the cheap. And honestly, they show all of this stuff and everybody in their mind, I'm sure, thinking in the next 3-4 years. And I was like, no, it's going to be 3-4 years until they break ground. Right. And then it's going to be another 7 years until they actually open this stuff up. Because honestly, I don't think they even know what they're going to be doing. They're just slapping stuff on pictures and trying to send it to the city to get it approved.
Yeah, nor can they afford it right now.
Yeah,
that's for sure.
Yeah. I mean, they had to pay out all the annual pass holders.
Yeah. Yeah, I just want to throw out one idea in that DCA is different than Disneyland in that it captures the beauty that is California. So I would love it if in the expansion part of DCA, if they add another aspect of California, whether that's the Mojave Desert or, the Sierra Nevadas, Lake Tahoe, Northern California, something like that. I know we're in SoCal, but just some part of California that makes it really beautiful. Because I know Grizzly River Run is a made-up mountain, but it comes from, going whitewater rafting in Northern California, or the Redwood Trail that's straight out of Redwood National Park and all that. So I'm hoping that some California aspect gets thrown in there rather than we're just going to throw some IP in there. Pandora, they probably had a base in Southern California, and that's where their IT group is now. I want some Californian aspect in the DCA side. Otherwise, it's just.
Do you think they're going to keep that name, though, with all the stuff that they're adding in there with San Francisco and Pixar Pier, and then now they have Avengers Campus and stuff? So I feel like they're totally getting rid of California.
Well, Tony Stark has a home in Malibu, and that's in California. And then, Hollywood there's Hollywood, Florida.
What about Cars?
I'm hoping that they won't change the name. They got rid of the California lettering. I'm just hoping they don't change it to Disney's Great America.
Disney's I don't know land. We don't know what we're doing with this.
Yeah. Six Flags over Disney. Here we go. Grab the kids. Put them in the Winnebago.
Flags.
Off we go. Well, and let's not forget either, one of the other things that were sort of pushed forward in the conceptual development of what Disneyland Forward would like to do is the entertainment shopping district. We'll take a look at that image of the forward shopping we see here. This would be
Disney Springs.
Essentially a Disney Springs of California. Now, I know that we shared a lot of these images originally when Disney first put out the concepts of Disneyland Forward, and obviously a lot of these things can change, right? So one of the discussion points coming out of that zone report that just got not necessarily leaked, but that everybody figured out exists, really apparently is that this space where they would be building this location would be on the current Toy Story parking lot, which is also attached to a cast member parking area, a big slab of land off of Harbor and Catella in Anaheim. This location, while it looks like there is certainly a hotel attached to it, as well as a lot of retail around a body of water, Katrina.
Look at
my
that
God.
water.
Body
We
of
love
water.
Gotta have that water.
So expensive.
Either this is going to turn into a Disney Springs West or a possible third theme park, as it was being potentially described in that zone report. So I know that we dug into a lot of these images in long form, I feel like a year ago at this point.
Yeah.
And certainly talked a lot about that missing link and sort of the connection I was making. How do you get everybody over to this space? Because this is essentially a block away from Disneyland and where everything is contained. How do you get people on over here?
And buses are going to be like the dumbest idea.
Right.
Like,
Yeah,
it has to be
no,
like you
that's horrible.
walking or people mover or some type of thing, you know?
Absolutely. And the missing piece between that slab of land and the property Disney owns, where the current Pumbaa parking lot is, which they have said in this design and in these zoning forms is going to be a massive welcome parking garage area that is going to connect people up over Harbor Boulevard and into the parks. The missing link between all of this is that space in between the Pumbaa parking lot and everything on the other side of the Garden Walk. Disney has to buy the Garden Walk in order for this to work.
They're
and
never
in
going
order
to
to
sell.
connect it.
They're going to hold out. And that's the crazy part is like, so they're putting in all of this like, you know, little downtown Disney 2.0 stuff. So now they're going to put Din Tai Fung there. They're going to put Portos. They're spending a lot of money. Din Tai Fung is like this, everything is kind of up the framework. So now they want to build on and like do it on a completely separate area. I was like, you don't even know what you want to do because you're just trying to build stuff. And now you're going to have like another type of Disney Springs on the other side. So
Potentially.
is it going to be shopping on one side and then dining on the other side? Or is it going to be a little mixed of both? Because at that point, you need to make it easy peasy for us to like move around. Because I'm not going to walk a mile. I mean, I don't. But like, I can't imagine people like going to one and then walking a mile to the next area being like, let's go shopping. And then they go to the next one unless there's like a sky bucket or a people mover type of thing that's easily able to get you one way to another or an actual like, you know, monorail that works that can hold
they
a
gotta
lot
do
of
the
bodies.
Monorail, like they need a monorail like Tokyo Disney Sea and Tokyo Disneyland that like it connects multiple hotels and goes around the entire area. I don't know how, you know, the city of Anaheim would feel about a monorail system going all throughout its city. Cause,
oh no, they would force them to stop at other locations.
Oh, that'd be horrible.
7-Eleven,
But, like,
for example.
Oh
you
no.
need like a miniature BART system in Anaheim or something like that. Disneyland is trying to make up for the fact that we did not buy enough land in 1955 like Disney World did in 1971, where it's like, you know what, we need 46 square miles. Time to start buying up pieces of the Southern California area. I'm sure all the people are looking forward to getting evicted.
I mean, remember like in Anaheim when they were trying to build the sky, what is it, like the elevated little crosswalk kind of, so
Skywalk,
it wouldn't clog the streets, because when you go through Catella, everybody has to cross the street, but it causes such a cluster for everybody to go through that they wanted to build like a direct walkway to, I think, Toy Story, wasn't it? And then every business got pissed. And they're like, absolutely not. It has to go like up and over, and it has to end up on like by our businesses, or we're gonna lose out. And then Disney was just trying to like build this like little crosswalk to like make it easier for people to get from Toy Story and back over. And then everybody just got mad.
I think you might
And
be
then they
referring to the Pumbaa over Harbor.
Oh yeah, Pumbaa
Right?
over Harbor. Yeah.
Yeah, this zoning report looks like that has been fixed, and now the zone report now details that this walkway is still going to happen, but there's going to also be an opportunity for people to get sort of off that walkway and down onto the street level.
Yeah.
So it makes for, I guess, peace between Disney and the Harbor Boulevard community.
But look how long it's taken, though, for
Yeah.
them to try to create peace, just to be like, okay, well, let's just build this walkway and then add stairs and elevator down, because they have to add, make it accessible to everybody. But then it's just kind of like, how long was this? 10 years
Right.
this has been going on? It's been a long time since they
we
announced
probably
the
won't
idea.
see this for another 10 years, unfortunately, but
Oh, it's like the 5.
Yeah.
It's never going to be finished.
yeah, maybe one
When
day.
Tyler's CEO, it will be fixed.
Make it happen, Tyler.
I'll get it done.
Absolutely. Vote for
right.
Tyler, ladies and gentlemen. You know what to
Oh my
do.
god.
Mm-hmm. Will you let us know when it comes to the expansion plans for Disneyland Forward? Obviously, as we just said, many years away. What are you looking to see happen with these Disneyland Forward plans, whether it be California Adventure or Disneyland's expansion or that piece of property over off of Catella that is currently the Toy Story parking lot? What do you want to see? Let us know in the comments. We got some trivia for you. Disney Trivia Minute time.
I love trivia.
Trivia.
This makes me nervous.
I don't know why you would be
Every
nervous.
time.
Disney Trivia Minute, testing our team on some of the greatest from Disney's past. And today, alongside Tyler Crouch, Katrina Manzone, Garrett Hassel, here to share their thoughts on all things Disney trivia. Producer Tony, also off camera, going to be sharing his thoughts too. Our first question this round: what 80s heartthrob inspired Aladdin? Not the story, of course, but the caricature of Aladdin in the film. What 80s heartthrob inspired Aladdin? Was it A, Rob Lowe, B, Emilio Estevez, or C, Tom Cruise? Garrett, we begin with you.
Fantastic. I'm so glad you picked me first.
No.
I was honestly waiting for Katrina to go first so she can give her dissertation, and then from there I could find some.
Bet you I'm gonna still do it.
Yeah, see,
Oh, good.
Tom Cruise
She
in
would.
the 80s, I think he did Risky Business. Maybe. I don't know, but like he's really big in the 90s in the Top Gun.
Was
so-
that it?
No,
That's
it's,
it.
I know it's not Tom Cruise. Honestly, like Rob Lowe, he's a fan favorite, but Emilio Estevez, he was amazing.
But you have to
in
say
Mighty
his
Ducks.
name. Emilio Estevez.
Emilio Estevez!
Coach Bombay.
Coach
Mighty
Bombay!
Duck guy.
Yeah, I gotta go. Coach Bombay is my answer. Coach Bombay.
Going with Emilio Estevez. Very good.
He
Tyler.
beat Iceland.
That's right. And if you can beat Iceland, you need a Disney animated character made after you. What 80s heartthrob inspired Aladdin? A, Rob Lowe, B, Emilio Estevez, C, Tom Cruise.
I don't know. For some reason, my initial thought was Tom Cruise, but the more I thought about it, I think I'm going to go with Emilio Estevez. Mostly because when I think about like what Aladdin looks like, I feel like he looks more like Emilio Estevez than any of those other guys. So
Okay.
I'm going for that.
All right.
B.
so
B, right? Yes.
You got it. Emilio Estevez.
Good
Charlie
choice. That's a
Pickle
solid
says
choice.
Mario Lopez.
I would have picked Mario Lopez, honestly.
I mean, I suppose you could attach him to the 80s, right? The
Yeah,
late 80s
yeah,
was
sure.
Saved by the Bell starting, yeah.
Gotta eat to live, gotta get saved by the bell. It's similar lyrics.
Wow.
Absolutely.
He's the golden goose, ladies
He
and
is the
gentlemen.
golden goose. There he is. Katrina, Rob Lowe, Emilio Estevez, Tom Cruise. What 80s heartthrob inspired Aladdin?
I can't wait for this.
Hem, hem, hem. Got the
All
professor
I like he's
jacket
got a
on
tweed
today.
Jacket on.
I'm going to go use the bathroom. I'll be right back.
I'm gonna pop my collar for a second here.
Oh, looking good.
Oh gosh.
Okay, ready?
Ready?
All right. Rob Lowe, handsome man, very handsome, very happy, peppy, totally big in the 80s. Tom Cruise, also big in the 80s.
Very.
He has that, that hair that gets in his way a lot, so he'd always go like this in a lot of his movies.
Oh, Maverick.
Yeah.
Look out.
And then there's also Emilio Estevez,
She
the
said
Mighty
it.
Duck
That's right.
guy.
There we go.
You can't go wrong with the Night at the Roxbury guys talking about Emilio Estevez all the time, So, I mean, he was the Mighty Duck guy.
This is true.
And I think he was pretty popular back in the 80s, if I'm not mistaken. And he
Gordon
does kind of
Bombay.
have that, schnoz that Aladdin has, right?
Interesting.
Doesn't he
schnoz.
have,
Aladdin
The
schnoz.
schnoz.
He's also related to wait.
The Sheens.
Yeah, Sheen. Yeah, Charlie Sheen and Martin Sheen.
You're welcome. Yes.
And how does that relate
you.
to Aladdin?
I have no idea.
They all have great hair.
They really do.
That's true.
Everybody has
That's
great hair in
fair.
that family.
Yeah.
And they're
well,
all kinda
Charlie
crazy.
Sheen has tiger blood,
Yeah.
and
And he's
there
a
is a
Vatican
tiger
warlock
in
assassin.
Aladdin.
Great point. He's a bitchin' rock star from Mars. I think we've heard. That's for sure. So who you going with,
Yeah,
Katrina?
let's go with somebody, please.
Okay, I'm really nervous because I really don't know. I'm gonna say Emilio Estevez because I like saying his name.
Emilio Estevez.
Emilio Estevez
There we
because
are.
Tom Cruise is nuts. So
an 80s heartthrob who inspired the creation of the caricature of Aladdin. Producer Tony, I know you're off camera. What do you got for us?
Well, as an 80 heartthrob myself.
You are.
It's true. If
We
you
know
could
this.
see.
They made a song
I
after
can
you,
sing
Tony,
too.
Tony, Tony.
Right?
Yeah.
Right. I'm going to go with Rob. Rob
Okay,
Lowe.
Rob
because
Lowe.
I mean, if you look at him in the 80s, he reminds me of Aladdin. So
I bet
There you go.
Tony gets it right. Like
All
always.
We've got one for Rob Lowe, the rest for Emilio Estevez. We check chat. Trisha saying C, D saying B, David saying Tom Cruise. We have Javier saying, did someone say Emilio? We got Rob Lowe, Tom Cruise. Thank you, Nancy, Charlotte, and Lucy for sharing as well. Ladies and gentlemen, the 80s heartthrob that inspired Aladdin is, in fact, Tom Cruise.
Oh, dang it! That was my
that
initial
was my,
thought.
me too. I was like, is it Tom Cruise? No.
I'm writing checks my body can't cash right now.
Sorry, bud.
Talk to me, Goose.
I
Talk
should've
to me.
went
Oh wait,
with my
I
first
am
thought.
the golden goose.
You are the goose. I thought you'd get this one, Garrett.
Wah.
That's for sure. But now we know.
How
Tom
sad.
Cruise helped inspire the look of Aladdin for the Disney animated feature.
That's fair. They're both tiny.
They are tiny. That's a good point.
We didn't think of the height.
They're so petite.
There's a height
equation.
comparison, right, Garrett? Yeah. We move along now. In other animated trivia, what is the most expensive Disney animated film ever made? Is it A, Toy Story 3, B, the remake of The Lion King from 2019,
Thought that was live action.
or easy, or C, Tangled? Garrett, what are we going
Yeah.
with? Most expensive Disney animated film ever made.
No.
I would not have guessed any of these three, honestly. I'm just gonna shoot my shot, and
That's how you got where you are.
Troy Bolton right there.
yeah, I was gonna say Toy Story 3 is technically like a Pixar animated film. Like, is that play? Is this like a? It all depends on the wording. I'm gonna go Tangled. They got really great job of Flint's eyebrows. Like, those were high quality, and I can only imagine every eyebrow fiber had to at least cost at least 100 G's. The smolder alone, 200 million to get it going, and the lanterns, every lantern at least 50 grand. So I'm going Tangled. Locked me in. Sorry, what is Tangled, Alex?
There you go. Thank you for answering in the form of a question. So going with Tangled, very good. Katrina, the most expensive Disney animated film ever made, Toy Story 3, The Lion King remake in 2019, or Tangled?
So is this a trick question? Because like I would say The Lion King because it was very expensive, but it was live action, right?
It's not live action. It was basically CGI. We all know this.
James Earl Jones alone
on
cost
John
100
Favreau,
million.
live action,
Live
Lion
action,
King,
please.
just like the live action Jungle Book. At least that was partially like live action because the child.
Right.
There's a
but,
human being in there.
You know, whatever.
Yeah.
All right, so let's talk about this.
Okay.
Oh gosh.
Pixar and Disney also they teamed up for Toy Story. So like Garrett said, does that count? Because they're like, you know, it's like 50-50. Pixar paid a little bit and then Disney paid a little bit. So does that count as like one whole lump sum?
Did Disney own Toy Story?
Yes.
Or own Pixar by then? Probably.
Yeah, of course.
That's fair.
Yep.
Yeah.
By
Anyway.
3, definitely.
Don't ruin it, Garrett.
My,
And then
sorry.
Lion King, live action, 2019, real lions, everything happens. Beyonce was in it, you know, because she was like too good to be Tiana. She was like, I can't try out for this. Like, look at the next show. We like shows before.
I am a
we
queen.
answered this question.
Right.
She is a queen bee, you know.
We all
And
got
then
it
the last
wrong.
one, Tangled, super great movie, love it to death. One of my favorites.
Grab a frying pan.
That was expensive to
Yes.
make, I'm sure. I'm gonna say B, just because I despise that movie so much.
The Lion King. All right. Very good. Tyler, most expensive Disney animated film ever made, Toy Story 3, Lion King remake 2019, or Tangled?
I feel like this question is like between two for me. It's either Tangled or Lion King for sure. I don't think Toy Story 3 makes sense being in there because like Pixar's whole purpose is to be an animation house, and if they're supposed to be developing their technology this whole time, like ramping up slowly for every movie, and if they are making the most expensive movie that Disney's ever paid for, then they're kind of not doing their job.
Ooh.
Okay.
Or
I don't know yet.
or it's just so incredible that it does require a lot of costs.
You have a pretty large cast too in Toy Story by that point, right?
Yeah.
A lot of big names.
That's true, but I feel like voice acting, even if you're the biggest actor on the planet, voice acting doesn't bring in the same amount of money as being like doing a live action thing.
Tom Hanks isn't cheap.
So I don't know. That the other thing is like both Tangled and Lion King are kind of proof of concept movies in the way that like they made a lot of technology to create those movies and more. So that's that's why I'm like really torn between the two of them. I am gonna go with Tangled. I think no, I'm actually going Lion King because I'm gonna go Lion King because Lion King seemed like it took way more R&D. Does that make sense? Like way more R&D than Tangled would have. But remember that Tangled was like the footprint for like Frozen and all of the other Disney movies that are in 3D that have come out since then. So yeah, I'm still going Lion King. Sorry. Yeah, that was a long. Very contributing.
I know. I was like, I'm rubbing off on him.
But I'm really trying to get to the bottom of this one.
I loved your. I mean,
that's
very
really
well
great
thought out, though. Right?
It's true.
Pretty brilliant. Producer Tony, what do you got for us? Most expensive animated film Disney's ever made?
Since I haven't seen any of them.
What?
I know.
You haven't seen
Tony,
Tangled, dude?
But
cut the mic.
Tangle web we weave.
Oh.
Tangled, you say.
I am
Interesting.
going to say Tangle.
I totally got it right. If Tony goes on my vote, then I got it right.
He didn't last round.
Right.
All right. So we take a look on into chat, and we hear from our friends. We've got Charlotte saying C, Trisha saying A, D saying B, David saying A, and Nancy saying Tangled, Charlotte saying C again. So we've got reinforcement. Ladies and gentlemen, the most expensive Disney animated film ever made is C, Tangled.
Dang it.
Yeah,
pay my money.
You're welcome.
Interesting.
Lion King was, in fact, deemed live action. So.
I told you it was a trick question.
Yep.
That is so
Rude.
stupid.
It was a trick
This is why I
question.
went to college, so I can find trick questions. I feel so good right now. I'm going to chase this forever.
Rude.
Chase that feeling, bud.
How can you do that? Like, how can you make an animated movie and then say, no, it's live action, guys?
It's
Sorry.
This
Hey,
was live
with some
action.
live
It's the trivia
scenes.
It's the trivia minute, and we take 30 minutes to answer it, so Wade can do whatever he wants. We already broke the game.
There it is. And now you know. More Kingdom Report Live straight ahead for you next. The Disney List has arrived. Disney List time, sharing some of the best from the Walt Disney Company with you today. We are going all in on Halloween time. In fact, some of the best ways to make the most of Halloween time at the Disneyland Resort. Here to share their thoughts with you today, Tyler Crouch, Katrina Manzone, and bringing up the rear to comment on all of it, the Golden Goose Scared Hassle. Ladies and gentlemen, we are grateful to be with you. We're going to start with Tyler, some of the best ways to make the most of Halloween time, outside, of course, the Oogie Boogie Bash. So if you didn't get score a ticket, which we know the majority of you did not, it sold out instantly. How are you going to enjoy Halloween time at the Disneyland Resort? Tyler, it's your favorite time of year?
It's a good time to be alive.
Oh.
Halloween time.
Cheers.
Because if you think about it this way, if you're not alive during Halloween, then you won't be able to die during Halloween, which is the spooky part. So you wouldn't be able to enjoy Halloween if you weren't alive.
Yeah.
What? That's like a Katrina Manzoni trivia minute
Watch
dissertation
yourself.
right there.
I felt like I was channeling you a little more than Katrina, but
A web
Dude,
of
you were speaking
confusion.
in
Web of
cursive,
logic.
But I agree.
yeah, thank you,
roll.
Garrett. Appreciate that.
Love it.
So I got two things here that I think are nice, fun things to do to enjoy Halloween, and you don't have to pay for that Oogie Boogie ticket, or if you missed out, unfortunately, then you don't have to be too sad. Because the number one thing I say you should do is every year Halloween time, Disney comes up with literally like dozens and dozens of different foods to enjoy around the parks. So, and not even just the parks, but also just downtown Disney or some of the restaurants there too. So I think the number one thing for me is to check out the foods this year. It's like they've got some crazy stuff over at Hungry Bear. They just have this red pepper cheese sauce that they've decided they're just going to put on literally everything. Wow. So I'm kind of into that. They literally have just a picture of onion rings just oozing with this red pepper cheese sauce, and I'm like, that seems like a lot, but also I'm curious. So
Can I have it on the side?
Little dip in.
Yeah, a little dip action might be a little more fun. You're right.
Get it in there.
Over at Refreshment Corner, they've got this crazy looking chili dog, the spicy chili dog, and it has spicy chili and nacho cheese sauce and brown mustard and corn spicy. These are basically just flaming hot Fritos, and then there's a fried serrano pepper on top.
Oh dang!
And I'm like, I don't really like hot dogs that much, but I could get down on that. I don't know. I should.
What's the thing with like Halloween and spice?
Yeah.
What's the correlation here?
Hell.
Yeah.
Fire.
Your
Fire,
nose
That's
on
true.
edge.
Yeah,
All right,
fire.
never mind. I just had a moment.
Yeah. And speaking of fire, they actually have a new they even have a new Nom Nom cookie over at the Jack Jack's Nom Noms, and it's got the fire. It's got like a little emblem. I think he's made of white chocolate, if I had to guess. Little emblem of the little fire gremlin that Jack Jack turns into.
Oh, how cool!
Cute.
So that looks pretty fun. And then of course, one of my favorite things that they always do is the ghost pepper nachos at the Lamplight Lounge.
Heck
I
yeah.
mean that.
Sounds like a nightmare.
Lobster nachos used to be great. Don't get the lobster nachos anymore. But these ghost pepper nachos, they were steak in the past. Now they're changed it to chicken, but they still look great to me.
But it's
I'm
only
excited.
at the boardwalk dining upstairs,
Oh,
not
good to know.
downstairs.
Okay. Stay upstairs.
If
So
it's
yeah,
open.
I mean that's just a small selection of some of the things they have, because I mean this page goes on and on and on, just like that Oliver Tree song that you've heard on TikTok. On and on and on and on and on. Anyway, the next thing that I have on my list here is just the decorations. I mean, just walk around and take in the decorations. Kind of part of the vibe of Oogie Boogie Bash is just hearing the music, seeing the lights at night, walking around, taking in the windows that are on Buena Vista Street, things like that.
The Headless Horseman.
It doesn't need to be a party night for you to see those things. They play the regular Halloween music, so you can be walking through Buena Vista Street and like they're literally playing songs from Beetlejuice, which is just it's weird to hear that, but also so cool at the same time. So just take in the decorations, go to Cars Land, check out Halloween over there, because
Doesn't the lights turn on there differently than usual? Like it's a little kind of spookier.
Yeah, I mean, the whole thing is like completely. I mean, it's kind of insane, all the decorations they came up with for Cars Land too. Because if you think about it, you can go to so many different places, and everybody has like jack-o'-lanterns or fake spider webs or whatever. Cars Land is the one and only place you can go to where they literally had to come up with decorations that make sense for vehicles. So it's like they're one of a kind Halloween decorations that you won't see anywhere else. And I love the little model that they have at the Cozy Cone that is based on the Bates Motel, the Brakes Motel.
The Brakes Motel.
So good. And they have the Norman Brakes car sitting up at the top, staring menacingly down the hill. It's just such good stuff. You don't need to go to the party to have a good amount of fun, of Halloween fun, at Disney. But yeah, those are my two. I'm curious to see what everybody else has as well.
Fantastic. Yeah, Cars Land is an epic center of Halloween, a nucleus of Halloween at the Disneyland Resort, if I do say so myself. Katrina, outside of the Oogie Boogie Bash, how would you encourage somebody to make the most of Halloween time at the Disneyland Resort?
Oh,
Ghosts! Look out!
Spooks.
Whoa!
Whoa!
Oh!
What is in that studio?
So many spooks.
Zach Baggins,
So
get in
scaries.
here. We need some help. Go searching.
So my two are Halloween Screams. Super great.
Oh.
One of my favorite fireworks shows that Disney actually has, because like the songs are really good. It's like nonstop music and nonstop fireworks. It's kind of amazing how the pyrotechnics like work,
Don't
because
take a
like they
break.
don't
Yeah.
they don't take a break. It's not like a
That's true.
music plays and then you're like, oh, and then they slowly just die down and then more come up.
Mm-hmm.
It is like nonstop on the beat of every single note. It's insane. I
That's a
love
good
it to
point.
death. It's like one of my favorite fireworks shows, and that's on Disneyland. So you don't have to have a party ticket to actually see it, which
Yeah.
is great. And then my second one is Haunted Mansion Holiday. I love Christmas.
Love it. The best thing ever. And it goes
So
for
good.
Halloween and Christmas. It's Ariel's favorite thing. I showed her it and she was like, this is better than all of Disney World. And I don't think it was an exaggeration, because the gingerbread house alone is just so impressive.
And it changes every year, which is fun, because then you're like look forward to seeing it. You know what I mean? Because like if they keep doing it every year with the same gingerbread, I think it would be fine. But I feel like a lot of people just like to see what kind of like crazy things that they come up with. And then plus when you get into the ballroom and you smell the gingerbread and you're like, oh wow, this is really good. I know like a lot of like annual pass holders have like a hate towards Haunted Mansion Holiday, just because it's always there and it lasts for so long.
What an unfavorable mix.
I know.
Yeah, shame on them.
But I do love it. It's always just really fun, and especially like if it changes up the vibe, because you have Haunted Mansion and then boom, Haunted Mansion Holiday for like a couple months, just to kind of change, just to change the scenery a little
It's one of the
bit,
best
and then like
parts, yeah.
as you walk through after you get done with the elevator and you go through the hallway, if you look towards the left, right as soon as you get done with the hallway, you can see the little band from Nightmare Before Christmas.
What?
Oh.
Yeah, you
How
never
fun.
see it, but you like as soon as you go through, you quickly look towards the left, in like where the windows are, and you can see them. It's always
Playing
fun.
away.
Yeah, it's
having a
always
great
cute.
time.
No one really sees it, but then you're like, oh, there it is. So yeah. Anyway, so
Check
those are my
them
two.
out.
Yeah, those
Yeah.
are fun.
Yeah,
Solid
that-
choices. Yeah.
What?
I said solid choices.
Oh,
said
yeah.
Those are great. Those are great choices. I like it.
I
just
was
'cause-
remaining silent to let that soak in. Solid
Dramatic
choices.
effect.
You're right.
Yeah. Just,
Yeah. Real solid. Thanks for that, bud.
Indeed.
Yeah. I will say also that if you have an opportunity to explore Main Street, USA, and the thousands of pumpkins up and down Main Street,
I love my
you will not
pumpkins.
regret it. You can spend a great big chunk of time just observing all of the different jack-o'-lanterns, all of the different pumpkins and the designs up and down Main Street, USA. At night, many of them come to life and illuminated.
Spooks.
As I have said in past years, my favorite of all, Elvis Pumpkin.
He is very
good.
fun.
Pumpkin.
Pretty great.
Elvis
I didn't
Pumpkin.
know.
He's
I
so
didn't know
good.
this.
I like the mustache man.
Oh, getting shaved?
Getting shaved,
Yeah.
but then half of his mustache is missing. I just have to find it every year. I'm like, I gotta see you, and then I go see it, and I'm like, hi,
Found you, bud. Yeah.
bye, and then I walk away.
Do you have a favorite pumpkin, Tyler?
I really like the one in Magic Kingdom that is just a bathroom sign.
Oh.
And this year,
Nerd.
this year at the beginning of the season, they put it in the wrong place, so it was pointing in the wrong direction. and like that was like the Twitter
yeah.
drama of like the 48 hours. It was like it's not pointing to the bathroom. What are we gonna do? They fixed it.
Everybody going to the restroom in the planner at that point. Well done, Disney.
Happened in Shanghai for a
Yeah,
while.
I was thinking. I was trying to think of a way to not be offensive and say something about
I don't think that's offensive. It's a fact. It's a
I guess
it
that's
happened
true.
at
It
Shanghai
happened.
Disneyland for a
it
little
did
bit.
happen.
Right, that's for sure. Well, thank you for sharing your tips on how to make the most of Halloween time at the Disneyland Resort. Yes, absolutely. That Halloween Screams fireworks, Katrina,
It's beautiful.
the best, absolutely. One of the most epic shows you will ever see. So much to see when you go to Disneyland this time of year, and Tyler's absolutely right with Cars Land, especially. Oh my gosh, they really go into overdrive.
Ah,
Thank you.
Oh man.
Thank you. Solid choices, right, Garrett?
Solid choices.
That's so.
I'm a man of few words.
That's how we like it. Stick around. More Kingdom Report Live for you next. Remember those carefree days of childhood where the magic still existed? When you didn't feel guilty about eating mountains of cereal with, we'll just say, questionable nutrition? Well, now you can have your cereal and you can eat it too. Because Magic Spoon has re-engineered that same great taste with grown-up ingredients for an absolutely game-changing Cereal 2.0. Because it's high protein, low carb, and 0 grams of sugar in each serving. I know, it's hard to believe, but it also comes in 6 delicious flavors. Frosted, fruity, cocoa, cinnamon, blueberry, and peanut butter. Plus, they've got limited edition flavors released throughout the year, like gingerbread or peaches and cream. So taste that magic of childhood all over again and get yourself some Magic Spoon cereal. Plus, take $5 off your order at checkout. All you got to do is insert the promo code Kingdom Team. That's right, Kingdom Team at checkout will get you $5 off your next order at magicspoon.com. That's magicspoon.com. Promo code Kingdom Team. And before we get out of here, I think it's an appropriate question to ask both Tyler and Garrett. Tyler, how often do you think about the Roman Empire?
Oh, gosh.
Every time I go on Spaceship Earth, I think about the Roman Empire.
Do you?
Yeah.
Ooh.
Yeah.
Any other point throughout your week?
I was going through Twitter today, and somebody posted about the old effect that used to happen. There was like a projection of like a guy with a horse in a carriage, and he would go up the streets of Rome.
Okay.
And I thought about Rome again today.
But not any other time?
I'm trying to figure out what.
Okay, just making sure.
Trying to figure out what we're getting at here.
Garrett, you think about the Roman Empire?
It does cross my mind every once in a blue. And so right now I'm actually listening to the old Percy Jackson audiobooks, and I sound like a nerd, but and it has Greek and Roman mythology and talks about the Roman Empire. And so then I'm like, let me just look it up. Yesterday I actually looked up Roman mythology, so that falls into the Roman Empire. So I was all up in it. I'm like, oh man, I fit this statistic. But yeah, it's Imperium or Die.
I'm so curious
SPQR.
what's happening.
Interesting.
SPQR, baby.
Thank you for that. It is quite the trend right now globally where men are being asked, how often do you think about the Roman Empire? And by and large, the majority of gentlemen globally are saying quite often.
Okay.
Days, even weeks where they think about it multiple times a day.
Do you think about it often?
When I was asked the question, I thought, no, I don't. Very rarely, as a matter of fact. So it's odd, but it is quite the trend right now. So wanted to get you guys on record to see if maybe you think about the Roman Empire often. Do let us know in the comments. Think about that Roman Empire. Love to hear from you. At any rate, we're going to be back with you next week, 3 p.m. Eastern, 12 p.m. Pacific. And remember, the legacy of Walt Disney lives on because of people like you and me. We'll see you next time.